for joining us and sharing that insight. Now we move on to the Middle East. Thousands of Israelis have rallied in Tel Aviv demanding a deal to end the war in Gaza and bring all the hostages home. Protesters gathered at Hostage Square holding banners reading "All hostages, bring them home now." Families of captives urged Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump to act quickly. The protest comes ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. Let's listen into what some of the protesters have said.
Touched every chance for a deal, blown up contacts, bombed the intermediaries, incited against the hostage families, the angel of sabotage and death. The game is over, literally. The whole world sees who he is. And the whole world, including President Trump, is determined to stop him from sabotaging again. We look you in the eye, Netanyahu. If you return without a deal, a hell you cannot even imagine awaits you here.
And I think this is a war of revenge, and it only hurts the Israelis and Palestinians in Gaza, and it's really awful how all the high words, high ideals of Israel are breaking apart. Maybe they weren't never this important as we think they were.
גם נתניהו וגם טראמפ איבדו קצת קשר עם המציאות. שניהם נראים לי קצת נרקיסיסטים פסיכופטיים, אם יותר לי להביע דעה לא מקצועית, אבל אני בעיקר, ואני לא מאמינה שאני אומרת את זה, סומכת קצת יותר על טראמפ ברגעים האלה מאשר על נתניהו.
Now for this discussion, we're joined by Ali Mohammed Abushbak. He's an independent Palestinian researcher, joins us live from Cairo. Thank you very much, Ali, for joining us. Good to see you. Now, what more can you tell us about the situation in Palestine and also Gaza, and also how do you think these demonstrations and increasing opposition voice in Tel Aviv or Israel is affecting current Netanyahu's government?
Thank you, Suma, for having me. In fact, also worth mentioning that there is a global protest entire the world supporting Palestine and supporting the ceasefire in Gaza and between Palestinian and Israel, and supporting the proposal that put by Donald Trump. The situation on the ground in Gaza, Israel is still within, according to several of international human rights organizations, described the situation as a genocide, and that Gaza City today, around 100 civilians have been killed since the night up to today, and around among of them also the food seeker from Gaza. Situation on the ground, it's completely dire, Usama, and also in Israel itself, several of a protest against Benjamin Netanyahu and asking him to reach a deal with Hamas and ceasefire and take back and release the hostages with any cost. So the thing is also Israeli news media list accused that Benjamin Netanyahu, there is a no defense and a complete victory for him, and he's just trying to manipulating Donald Trump. And according to the Israelis newspaper Ma'arif, consider what is happening is, according to them, it's a sarcastic statement that Benjamin Netanyahu has a victory for him, considering that Hamas is not going to defend and Hamas is not going to erase Hamas easily, and despite that also Hamas is not going to lie down its weapon. Also, Osama Jerusalem Post also consider what is happening with Netanyahu. It's just only delaying what is accepting the deal and the proposal that Trump put it the day before yesterday, and when he met the Arab leader also. Things is also Osama, they consider, and also they addressing again the Israelis attack in Qatar. They consider it as a fail, and Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to find any victory for him for his reputation in Israeli's community, but they consider it as a fail. And the Israeli community now, there is a several of outrage on the ground against Benjamin Netanyahu, and they accuse Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to make Smotrich and Ben Gvir more happy, and they extending the war for their benefits and for their personal benefit and for power benefit. So also Osama situation, as I mentioned, on the ground is more terrible for both Palestinian and Israel, and there is no doubt about the captive situation, because of we are talking about the displacement, the civilians, and the secure of the Israeli prisoner in Gaza. It's more difficult for them, and their life, I mean, under the risk, make it their situation is more miserable. And Israelis families, I mean, the captive family, they understand this situation and they know that these things. As I mentioned, also there is a global protest against Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, I guess Netanyahu just only has one support, USA. And there is for me, there is I mean, positive atmosphere to reach out to a deal and ceasefire, or even temporary a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, since Benjamin Netanyahu is still insist for his notion that complete victory against Hamas. That's not possible, and I mean, on the ground, it will not happen.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ali, for joining us and sharing that insight and letting us know the updates. Now we move on to North America.